Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle, where professionals in the field inform, educate and inspire the community to be healthier, more balanced and live the lifestyle they love. Today in the studio we have Caroline Pope, who is an animal communicator and therapist, and today we're going to be discussing animal global awareness, myth or truth. Hi Caroline and welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. So can you tell us, is there animal global awareness? Is it true?
Absolutely it is, yeah. We have the internet, animals have the internet, and in the same way on Messenger, you can see someone's on there, but you don't want to talk to them. They can ignore you or other animals, or they can choose to communicate. And all animals are aware. The geese that fly from north to south and vice versa will literally spread the news. It's almost like in the old days when we only had the telegraph. Animals have always had it. We like to think that we're so superior, and yet the technology, in inverted commas, that they've always known what's gone on in other sections of the world. We're just a little slower to catch up.
Can you please give me some examples of what this is and how it works?
They have thought in exactly the same way we do, and it's the telepathics. I remember on September 11, I was staying at a mate's place, went down later that day to my horse, just looked at him and said, "Do you know about it?" And he said to me, "Yes, we all know about it. We just can't understand it. Can you explain it?" No, not really. But every animal on the planet, because you think how much that was broadcast across. Some of them will have picked up the people in the planes. Some of them will have picked up the pets and pet dogs, pet cats that saw it. The birds will have seen it. And it goes out in the same way it did on our television screens. They know and they understand. Another client of mine was going to Hawaii, and she was doing a communication to make sure the animals knew she'd be back and all those sorts of things. And the cat actually said to her, "Be careful. There's going to be an earthquake." First night at the pub, she's happily half tanked and telling everybody, and they were giving it to her for the rest of the trip. Oh, the earthquake. Day before they were due to leave, guess what there was? A large earthquake. She said it was such a shame it wasn't the second day because everyone was buying a drink. She could have had a lovely week. But the animals know so much more than we do. And a friend of mine's cockatoo, when we had that earthquake in Melbourne, apparently half an hour before, he's turned around and gone, "Batten down the hatches. There's going to be an earthquake and it's going to be a big one." Sure enough, there was. So they know long before we do. They sense the energy of the earth and they all communicate because they feel it. I mean, you see all the pictures of the elephants heading up before the earthquakes or the tsunamis. Animals have this inbuilt knowledge. It's us humans that are left behind. We really like to think we're so all over it. We are so incredibly isolated from the rest of creation. We really are. And any animal can tune in to any other animal or person anywhere in the world and know what's going on. Friend of mine's cockatoo, it literally saved my life one day. I was really tired, mountain road. I was on my way home. I knew the road well, but it was one that a lot of people had killed themselves on. And he just said to me, "Slow down, look at your speedo." And I was doing 30k faster than I thought I was. If I'd hit that bend, it wouldn't have been pretty. And this is the thing, we are all connected. We forget that in the age that we're in now. You go back 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, we were much more interconnected, not only with ourselves, because we needed the community to survive. We weren't isolated. We all lived together. Go back, particularly Europe, where there's snow, the animals lived in with you because otherwise they'd all die of cold, as we would have. You got to know the animals intimately on a bunch of levels that most people don't today. And we were connected. It mattered what they did. If they couldn't work or they were exhibiting signs of soreness, it mattered if they were a working animal. It mattered with the crops, because if your crops failed, you starved to death. These days, we go to the supermarket, we don't think twice. We've become so disconnected. But often, particularly before a large weather event, for example, the animals would let you know. And even today, if it's going to be a really hot summer, the animals will all drop their coat a lot earlier. Then the people would know, oh, okay, we're going to be heading towards a hot summer, or vice versa, cold, wet winter. The animals start growing their coat 2 months earlier. The farmers would know and would try and stock up. We were interconnected. We've lost all of that, or most of that. Some rural areas still have it, but very few. And, these days, the most we do with weather is flip up our phone and look at the weather app. We don't even walk and look outside or know what to do. They used to look at the animals and work out. Quite often, that would be as good or better a weather barometer as listening to the Melbourne Bureau.
And if your animal is behaving oddly, like what would be your advice?
There's always, always, always a reason. You need to find it. And don't wait. Don't let it drag out. If your animal's acting oddly, animal therapist, vet, and you may well find, yes, it may well be a massive thunderstorm. A lot of dogs will pace. One of mine used to know any sort of atmospheric pressure he struggled with. So 2 days before a storm, he could be bad. It was really unpleasant for him, poor little guy. But they know, you may find it's an earthquake, but often it's pain. Oddly, there's always a reason, but most times animals will be odd, is pain. So always, always get them checked by a healthcare professional as soon as you possibly can.
Thank you very much, Caroline. It's been a pleasure. If you want to know more about Caroline Pope and Animal Global Awareness, go to her webpage on our website at healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and please stay tuned. We've got another fantastic guest coming after the break. Stay tuned. After the break, health, life and love coach Heather Belle Murphy is talking about the secrets of long-lasting love. Welcome back. We are here with Heather Belle Murphy, a health, life and love coach, and today our topic is healthy eating for a healthy love life. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Now, can you tell me how the two are connected?
Absolutely, love to. This probably relates more to women and to female clients that I've worked with previously, having worked in the area of self-love and a healthy weight for about the last 25 years. What I commonly find is women will think that they're not worthy of having a great relationship with themselves, and that of course includes food. It's not like a concept where we become, I would do anything for my children or the family and my significant others or my parents or my best friend or my sister, even the cat and the dog, but I don't have to worry about me because I'm going to be the well of sacrifice. And the funny thing is, or the irony there is, of course, that we really need to be the fountain of love. And a fountain self-waters in a way, and it's a really beautiful metaphor where we self-nurture and self-water and pay ourselves that respect. And this is what I really find with women and working with women in the dating sense as well, is that we need to first love and respect ourselves. Now this is a bit of the paradigm that we're in, that we've been in for the last couple of thousands of years, where we're seen as the other. And so we're not seen as the queen anymore, and we don't treat ourselves as the queen. Now, part of the whole picture about loving ourselves first and being worthy and respecting ourselves is that we look after ourselves. And into that whole puzzle is going to be the puzzle and the pieces of the puzzle around food, choosing healthy foods in healthy amounts and consuming healthy portion sizes, and that will fit into our picture of how we look after ourselves. And then A funny thing to consider is, do we really want to take perhaps bad habits that we may have picked up when we were younger and our metabolisms are a bit faster? Are those habits going to serve us going into our greater selves? Because we're only 20 for 5 minutes, let's face it. You know, the majority of our healthy life is going to be around fitting in with families and, you know, working healthily at a career. That's the big part. You know, the teenage fun years and the 20s, they don't last forever. Let's look at those future selves that we're going to take into most likely, say, committed long-term relationships. And so it's a really great thing to be thinking about the healthy habits that you adopt then.
Heather, what is healthy eating?
You're probably aware that diet has changed and nutritional advice has changed a great deal in the last, say, 25 years. Now that's because in the last 20 years, with the rise of quantum medicine, science and research into nutrition can now look at the subcellular level. So now we have a much better understanding of how things like sugar and fats are metabolized in our actual cells themselves. So that's had a massive consequence for those high carb diets of the 90s, to which I was a victim of. So back in the day, I ate a lot of grains. We now know that a high grain diet is quite inflammation making. I was always hungry because it was upsetting my blood sugar levels. So I don't instruct clients to eliminate carbs, of course, but carbs and grains in my diet is a much less of a feature than once upon a time, and it's also going to depend on body type. But as a rule of thumb, if we can stick to things like, I like to say to clients, think of your stomach as being 3 fist sizes. So if you eat that much at a time, you're reserving a third of your stomach to actually move the food around and to digest it. So, you know, that's a smallish portion size for a lot of people, and it does shock people. Now, of course, if you've got a big day or, you know, you're running a marathon, that's obviously going to change. But we know overall people are consuming too much food, and they're often consuming the wrong types, which means not eating food that comes with a skin. It tends to come out of a packet. And everything pretty much that comes in a packet has been altered and interfered with, and it's had added, you know, generally sugar or fat added to it. And so that's a thing to watch, instead of eating food in its natural state, in the right quantities, at the right time, in the right way.
Do you have any tips for our audience?
I do. A lot has changed from that eating that where people have to eat 3 square meals a day. I would say find a mentor, even if that's via social media, that you would like to emulate. Obviously though, just be aware of keeping it real. We've all seen the social influencers who were sort of about 20, and it's very easy to look fabulous when you're in your 20s. So look for somebody who's perhaps around your age group, your kind of body shape, you know, because of course we all know there are examples where women are trying to starve themselves into shapes, or, you know, impossible kind of supermodel kind of things, you know. And then we also realize that no matter how much, for example, Jennifer Aniston works out, you know, she still wears a lot of makeup, has a lot of spray tan, and then there's photoshopping that goes into that as well. So find somebody, perhaps your age group, your kind of body type, but then also somebody that you may wish to look like or emulate, that carries you into your best future self, by obviously adopting better habits and making healthier choices.
Thank you, Heather. That was fantastic. If you want more information on Heather Belle Murphy and healthy eating for a healthy love life, go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, and we'll be right back after this break with another fantastic guest and fascinating topic.
After the break, Health coach and author Kaveri Sequeira is talking about sustaining a healthy lifestyle, so please stay tuned. Welcome back, and our next guest is Kaveri Sequeira, certified health coach and author, and today her topic is sustaining a healthy lifestyle. Welcome back, Kaveri.
Thank you, Linda. Great to be back.
Always good to see you. And today you're talking about sustaining a healthy lifestyle. Now, why is it important to sustain a healthy lifestyle? Bearing in mind, I guess you've talked to us about the human diet.
Yes, absolutely. So it's really important to sustain that human diet and healthy lifestyle, because you've worked so hard in changing and doing all the things that are required to have that healthy lifestyle. So you obviously want to maintain it. I've seen so many times where people go back to their old habits and behaviors within 3 to 6 months, especially if they've done yo-yo dieting, with the different, just get a crash result. But in 3 to 4 months time, they're back, eating with their old ways of eating and their patterns. Now that doesn't happen when you follow the human diet, simply because you know how to deal with it, and also because the cravings are completely reduced, because we're having natural food and there's not much chemicals, so your body is having a bit of a chance to kind of get that reset and really heal, and you're not having those spikes in blood sugars that's going to cause you to pile on those kilos. And you're eating seasonally, and that helps a lot, as I've talked about before as well, to give your body a break to actually heal. So when I kind of achieved my weight loss goals and my weight transformation following this human diet, what I personally did was join a support group. So I actually joined people who are actually on the same journey as me, and that community feel like made a massive difference. And also just being more, just if you make a mistake and you do something or eat something that you don't want to eat and you feel like you've fallen off track, just get back on track. Don't beat yourself up. That's what we do as well, and that doesn't help being healthy, because you're mentally stressed then. So yeah, that's why it's important, and I can share with you how you could do that.
Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So that would be my question to you. How can we sustain it moving forward, and bearing in mind that the healthy diet, and also you mentioned the emotional eating aspect.
Absolutely. So how do you do that? As I've already mentioned, join a community of like-minded people, because when you're in community, you have that accountability, and having that accountability really helps. And don't beat yourself up. Like if you've gone off track, recognize it and get back on track. And the emotional hunger is really a big one for us to, like a life event happens and then you like, okay, let me just trigger that behavior. That kind of triggers the behavior to go eat something that you would have had the last time you had that life event. So my suggestion is walk away, go drink a glass of water, do some meditation or deep breathing. That'll actually help you not buckle in and fall off the rails. The other thing is, you decide the person you're going to be. You literally change your mindset around food, and you literally change who you are or identify with. For example, if someone asks me, do I smoke today? I say I'm not a smoker. That's my identity around smoking. So like for that, you can have that same identity around food. You can say, I don't eat refined sugars. Or you could say, I don't eat dairy in my diet. When you are that person, when you identify with that, then it's very easy to say no to the bad habits coming back in. So when it comes to healthy lifestyle, then why people are so happy that they've have it, and then why do they not follow it all the time? The reason is because there's some sort of life event that's happened that kind of triggers old ways of eating or old behaviors, and they kind of just fall into bad habits again. The other reason is they probably don't have the support network that's kind of required to keep them accountable to maintain that healthy lifestyle. The biggest reason though is that they haven't identified themselves as a person who's like healthy and eats certain types of food and the identity is not associated 100%, or it's not reinforced 100%, and that's probably why they go back into old ways of eating. So my suggestion for that, I'll cover off in the tips, is how they can actually do that better.
Oh, wonderful. And so then from that, then what would your best advice, your top tips for our viewers as a takeaway from today?
Absolutely. So my best tips, if you've already achieved like sustainable weight loss and you're happy with it, and if you're following a very healthy lifestyle already and you're worried that you're going to put on weight, is to make a list. This is a food list of what I do eat, what I don't eat, and I will eat sometimes. Make a list and see, you know, is this something that I want to associate as a person, as an identity of someone who eats, you know, 3 chocolates a day? Or you could just say, I don't eat chocolate. It's your decision, but you are now aware of what is good quality and you know, what is not so good for your health. You get a choice. This is food, what food freedom is. You make a list of what you associate with something that you're going to eat regularly, something you're not going to eat regularly, and something that you eat sometimes. And that way you are not going below the line. You're not, you know, making a mistake. And if you make a mistake, guess what? Just get back on track, because guilt and shame around this doesn't help us keep maintain a healthy lifestyle, because healthy lifestyle also includes your mental health and emotional health. And yes, and drink your 7 to 8 glasses of water. You know, have you know, healthy community around you, and that will certainly make a big difference.
Thank you so much, Kaveri.
Pleasure.
And for more information on Kaveri and sustaining a healthy lifestyle, but then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And for now, we'll say bye-bye and we'll see you next week. If you'd like to know more about our show, please like our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel.